Picture this, a 40-year-old quarterback who everyone knows is living on borrowed time, a fifth-round rookie with superstar potential sitting on the bench, and a second-round running back who can't even sign his contract because of legal drama. Welcome to Cleveland Browns football, where nothing is ever simple and everything is about to explode. Right now, as we speak, Joe Flacco is preparing to take the first snap of the 2025 season against Cincinnati. But here's the thing that's got everyone talking. Former NFL linebacker Channing Crowder just dropped a prediction that's sending shockwaves through Browns Nation. He said, and I quote, "Joe Flacco is 716 years old. Shedeur Sanders is about to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns here coming up in a month or two." Now, before you roll your eyes, let me tell you why this might not be as crazy as it sounds. See, Flacco earned this starting job fair and square. He outdueled rookies Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, plus veteran Kenny Pickett, who's already been shipped out of town. But let's be real, this was always meant to be a placeholder situation. Flacco is 40 years old. His arm isn't what it used to be, and everybody in that building knows it. The question isn't if someone else will take over, it's when. And that's where things get really interesting. Shedeur Sanders, sitting at third string right now, wasn't supposed to be available in the fifth round. This guy was projected as a first-rounder before draft night went sideways. The Browns grabbed Dillon Gabriel 2 rounds earlier, which explains the depth chart positioning, but don't let that fool you. Sanders completed 17 of 29 passes in the preseason for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns with 0 picks. That's a 95.8 passer rating. Sure, he got sacked 7 times, but that's rookie growing pains, not a lack of talent. What makes Crowder's prediction so compelling isn't just the numbers, it's what Sanders represents. This franchise has been stuck in quarterback purgatory for decades. They've cycled through more starting quarterbacks than I can count on both hands and feet. But Sanders brings something different. He's got that it factor, the charisma, the athleticism, and most importantly, the potential to finally give Browns fans what they've been begging for, a legitimate franchise quarterback. But here's where it gets tricky. The Browns aren't just juggling quarterbacks right now. They're dealing with some serious backfield drama that could reshape their entire offensive identity. Remember Pierre Strong Jr.? The guy who rushed for almost 500 yards last season? He's gone. Released from injured reserve after a concussion scare. Just like that, another piece of Cleveland's running game disappears into thin air. With Strong out, the Browns are rolling with Jerome Ford and Dylan Sampson as their main guys. They've also picked up Raheem Sanders off waivers as insurance. But here's the million-dollar question that's keeping everyone up at night. Where the hell is Quinton Judkins? This is the part that'll make your head spin. Judkins was drafted 36th overall in the second round. 36th. That's premium real estate in the draft, and they selected him specifically to be Nick Chubb's heir apparent. This guy has the power, the burst, the receiving ability, everything you want in a modern NFL running back. But he still hasn't signed his contract because of off-field complications from an arrest earlier this year. The charges were dropped, but the NFL could still suspend him, and that's creating a nightmare scenario for contract negotiations. The Browns want guaranteed money protections if he gets suspended. Judkins' camp probably wants their guarantees regardless. And while lawyers are arguing over clauses and contingencies, Week 1 is happening with or without him. Kevin Stefanski won't even commit to whether Judkins will be available against Cincinnati. When pressed by reporters, he basically said nothing while keeping the door cracked open. That's coach speak for, we have no idea what's happening either. Think about how wild this situation is. The Browns have a manageable injury report. Only rookie defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr. is officially hurt. Guys like Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome, who missed preseason time, are expected back. The defense looks solid with Myles Garrett leading the charge. The offense has young playmakers everywhere you look. But they're heading into Week 1 with question marks at the 2 most important skill positions, quarterback and running back. And that brings us back to the Shedeur Sanders situation. If Flacco struggles early, and I mean really struggles, the pressure is going to be intense. Browns fans have been patient for decades, but that patience has limits. They see a young, talented quarterback sitting on the bench, while a 40-year-old veteran potentially struggles to move the ball. How long before those put in Sanders chants start echoing through Cleveland Browns Stadium? The thing is, Stefanski and offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt know they can't rush Sanders just because of outside pressure. This isn't college football where you can throw a freshman to the wolves and see what happens. The NFL is different. One bad performance, one confidence-crushing game, and you can set a young quarterback back years. But on the flip side, if Sanders is truly ready, keeping him buried on the depth chart while Flacco struggles could be just as damaging to his development. Here's what I think is really happening behind the scenes. The Browns coaching staff is walking a tightrope between competing now and building for the future. They know Flacco gives them the best chance to win in September and maybe October. He knows the system, he won't turn the ball over, and he can manage games. But they also know that Sanders represents something bigger, the potential end to Cleveland's quarterback carousel. The Judkins situation adds another layer of complexity. If he signs tomorrow and jumps right into the rotation, suddenly the Browns have a completely different offensive identity. Instead of relying on Flacco's game management, they could lean on a powerful running game and let Sanders develop gradually. But if Judkins remains unsigned and this legal situation drags on, Cleveland might be forced to throw Sanders into action earlier than planned. Cincinnati isn't going to make any of this easy. They've got their own issues, but divisional games are always different. They know the Browns, they know Flacco's limitations, and they'll test Cleveland immediately. If the Browns come out flat, if Flacco looks overwhelmed, if the running game without Judkins can't generate consistent yardage, that's when things could get interesting fast. The clock is ticking on multiple fronts. Flacco's window to prove he can carry this team is probably measured in games, not months. Judkins' contract situation needs resolution before it becomes a season-long distraction. And Sanders is sitting there, watching, waiting, knowing that one injury or one bad performance could change everything. This is why Browns fans are on edge right now. It's not just about Week 1 against Cincinnati. It's about the direction of the entire franchise. Are they committed to winning now with veterans, or are they ready to embrace the future with young talent? Can they somehow do both without sabotaging either approach? Channing Crowder might be onto something with his bold prediction. Maybe Sanders is taking over in a month or two. Maybe Flacco exceeds expectations and holds on to the job longer. Maybe Judkins signs his deal and changes the entire offensive equation. Or maybe this whole thing implodes and we're back to the drawing board by Halloween. That's the beauty and the curse of being a Browns fan. Nothing is ever certain, nothing is ever easy, but everything is always possible. This season feels different though. There's talent on this roster, real talent. The question is whether the organization can manage it properly and finally break through. What do you think is going to happen? Is Crowder right about Sanders taking over quickly, or do you see Flacco holding the job longer than people expect? And what about Judkins? Does this contract situation get resolved, or does it drag on and become a major distraction? Drop your predictions in the comments, because I want to hear from Browns Nation on this one. And hey, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to stay on top of all the latest Cleveland drama, smash that like button and subscribe to Browns Breakout. We're going to be covering every twist and turn of what promises to be one of the most unpredictable seasons in recent memory. Here we go, Brownies. Buckle up, because this ride is just getting started.